I'm Dakota.
And I'm James the Great.
Okay. And this is Rosie. She's a little grumpy. She just woke up. We need to work on your hissing problem.
Beep. Beep.
Yeah, you can tell she's grumpy because, well, she started having a problem with hissing at people until after she woke up from her nap. Here, I'll put you here. Yeah, hi Rosie. Today's video is on hypermobility. Yes, hi Rosie. Now, there's a reason I'm making this video. I have realized, in the last couple years mainly, that a lot of people don't know what hypermobility is, and instead of explaining this to everybody in the town that I live in, I just one video and hoping some of them watch it will help. Now, I deal with hypermobility. He does not. Lucky James. Actually, he might, but not to the same extent as me. I've had people say that I'm faking it. More than one. For anybody watching who knows the incident between me and an adult. I actually had one of my teachers last week ask me what hypermobility was. It's the inspiration behind this video is actually from him. So, most people ask, like, what exactly is hypermobility? Now, I took notes yesterday.
My question is, why do you need to label the top of the page with notes?
I labeled it on text.
Nice.
Okay, so, for what exactly is hypermobility? According to the Mayo Clinic, hypermobility just means a greater than average range of mobility in joints. So, essentially by that, a lot of it falls under hypermobility. Like, okay, here's one trick that I typically show.
I mean, I can kind of do that.
Does your thumb actually touch your arm? Yeah. Can you do it both sides?
I can. Wait. Yeah, I can.
I think they
This
kind of
takes a
meant
lot
for
more.
you to keep the joint straight. You, like, bent your thumb backwards. You...
Yeah, my thumb just
That's weird.
Does yours not do that?
I don't know what exactly you're doing. Like that? Like that? Yeah. I'm not saying you can't have hypermobility. I'm just saying mine is worse than yours.
You just put your fingers here and push them down and back on your thumb. Down and towards your wrist.
Oh yeah, I can do that.
Good.
Okay. So there are different ways you can get hypermobility. There are some people that they do it through training. What did I just say? There are some people that can do it through training, so like your dancers, your gymnasts. They essentially train their bodies so that way they have more flexibility. Really?
Yes.
Or like my case, it's a family history of it, which means James is very lucky he doesn't have it as bad as I have it. Okay, so 1 in 10 children that have hypermobility will also experience pain while exercising. Shush. Which I think is something that... James.
I'm not purposely doing it.
Which I think is something that schools especially should take into account, as my school district doesn't. My hypermobility got really bad when I was in 3rd grade. Still take gym class. That was fun. Being totally sarcastic with that one. Hypermobility can also be a sign of a more serious underlying condition, which I didn't find like specifics of it, but I was more looking at like the hypermobility part, not what else can happen. Will you stop it?
I'm not doing it on purpose.
Sit completely still.
No.
Maybe it would work if you did. Okay, so with hypermobility, you have more stretchy connective tissue. What are you doing? James? Give me that. So you have more stretchy connective tissue, which makes it... Stop.
How do I put it back out? Oh,
If you distract me one more time, I'm duct taping you to something in this video. Okay, so you have more stretchy connective tissue, which makes it easier to injure soft tissues and dislocate joints. James, stop.
I forget to see the duct tape.
Because I'm trying to be nice. Change the light back and leave it alone. Now set the remote on the table and keep it there where I can see it for the entire video without touching it. Without.
I'm not touching it.
Where I can see it.
That's the part I don't hear about.
Okay. So like in my case with hypermobility, it's worse in my knees right now. I can dislocate my knee and tear my meniscus disc.
Well,
you know, you think that.
Yeah, that's why I said it.
But yet you complain when you have to start doing more things around the house because I can't.
Not really.
I've heard your comments recently about how you, quote, do everything. Oh, hi, Braden. So, it can also give you longer recovery time from injuries if you actually recover completely from it at all. You can also only partially recover. And it is easier to continue to repeatedly injure various parts of your body.
Which is something you know an awful lot about. It's not wrong.
I don't think making fun of me on a video that people are gonna see is the best option for you right now.
No, it's the funny one.
James? Shush. Okay. So, something else that I actually learned from this. Are you paying attention?
Yes.
Something else that I actually learned from my research is that it allows micro traumas, which are often not visible on tests such as MRIs. Yeah, to my doctors, I'm not lying. Okay. So, where am I? Okay, skin and internal organs can be affected if it's, like, really bad. Typically, if there's another underlying condition, put the skull back.
It's really the weirdest thing you could have said.
James, I'm doing a video on hypermobility and you grabbed a skull.
Yeah. You see, it's not supposed to move like that.
Yours might hear in a minute. James, if you're so worried about space on your phone, maybe not distracting me so I get the video done would be the best option. So, James, stop. Let me finish the video. You just changed the light. And by the way, no, he didn't touch the remote when he did that either. Fix it.
I hate the range on that.
Maybe if you had it facing the correct way, the range would be better. Okay, so some symptoms of hypermobility, they vary day to day, is pain, fatigue, headache, dizziness, neck pain, back pain. I don't know why it had that separate from pain.
It's special.
Well, according to the Hypermobility Syndromes Association, yes, apparently it is. Now granted, the amount of pain is varying day to day. So, like, there are some days, if the weather and the pressure is just right, it doesn't bother me as bad. I also have arthritis in my knees. It's a side effect from surgery. So, if the weather and the pressure's just right, I'm not in as much pain. I can do pretty much anything. There are some days, like, people do pretty much from beginning of April to beginning of May where I just really couldn't move. I was also on crutches for a hip injury.
Which also limits your movement, I bet.
Oh, yeah. My week-long injury has now lasted 2.5 months. Actually, no. We're at 3 months now.
But that sucks.
Yeah, so much for my doctor, so the last 1 week. If you rest, I have rested. Okay, now to the fun part of all of this.
Yeah, you set off the creepy cat behind you.
I'm not the one that set it up right there. Okay, so this is how you test to see if you have hypermobility. Now you can do this at home, and I
Sure.
have. Yeah, James. Stop it. Okay, so it is called. This is from the Elderstuntlose Society.
There's no D there.
You say it then.
Ehlers. Unless that's an N. Your handwriting says no offense.
I didn't see you doing anything.
I didn't know you were doing anything about it.
Okay, nice to know you listen to me.
No, I heard you said the idea. I didn't see you. Hear you say you're doing research.
You are where most people don't deal with the same thing I do, correct? Change the light and keep it the same. How many times do I have to say this?
Yeah, about one more.
Stop. Okay, so it is a 9-point scale. The joints assessed are the knuckle of the pinky finger, the base of thumbs, elbows, knees, and the spine.
I have one of those.
God, I hope so. I'm this close to just redoing the entire video. You are distracting. Okay, so it's in 5 steps. So step 1 is rest the palm of your hand or forearm on a flat surface. So James, demonstrate.
You did the color again. Turn it around.
Stop!
You should point the other end towards the light.
It's not the way it's supposed to be in most of this.
Just look at the remote.
I did. Now, let's pay attention to the video, the reason we're here. Okay. Don't cover my notes. Can the 5th finger be lifted upwards at a 90-degree angle or more?
1 finger, 2 finger, 3 finger, 4 finger, thumb. That's a pinky finger.
Okay. Can you lift that? No.
No.
You can't. You do it on the other side? Nope.
No.
So,
Try it.
no. Because it hurt my hands yesterday when I did it.
But did you succeed?
Yes. Okay. So it's 1 point for each hand. So I have 2, James has none.
Well.
Okay. Arm out straight. Okay, this is this one. Arm out straight. Once you do it like this. Palm facing downwards. Push back into the forearm.
Not straight.
It's saying.
Straight.
Okay, well,
Not
fine.
straight.
You can't necessarily demonstrate that on a video. Look at the camera.
Well, you can't demonstrate this on the camera either. I mean, it looks the same.
No. This way you see my fingers.
This way
This
hurts
way.
more than this.
Must suck not being as double jointed as I am. That barely stretched anything. Okay, so I can do that on both sides. See, we demonstrated this earlier. It's one trick I typically do. Okay, so I'm at 4, he's at 2.
Indeed.
Does the elbow extend more than straight? 1 point for each side. No, yours doesn't. Granted, that's also not how I do it.
Cheater, but also no.
Yes, it does.
Didn't seem like it from the side.
You can see from the straight side. I kind of pulled the muscle down.
I'll do it the other side.
Oh, no! Okay, I can't do it. James just isn't very observant. And apparently he can't. So, that is 6 points for me. What, 2 for you? We should make this into a game. How much money do I get if I win?
-3 pennies.
No, I'm not paying you for my pain. My doctor gets paid enough. Clearly, he drags out my appointments. Does the knee bend more than they're supposed to? 1 point for each side. Stand up and try it. Not that I would see much, you're wearing jeans. Stand on the table, it might help. That one. The one that'll support your weight.
Legs. There's a ceiling there too. Yeah, you can't see anything.
You probably should. I didn't think you'd actually do that. Sonny, get down.
Better
Okay.
in the way, Sonny.
Okay. My knees do bend farther than they are supposed
Prove it. Stand on the table and show us.
No.
Why not?
Because I know my head will hit the ceiling.
Be short.
You say I am short.
That's different.
Okay. So that puts me at 8. And James at still 2? Okay. Can you bend forward and place the palms of your hands flat on the floor? Okay, let's try this again. Can you bend forward and place your palms
No, I need to
of your
something
hand?
to make it
No.
grammatically correct, Mrs. Future English teacher.
I don't trust you with my notes, and I was exhausted and listening to music at the time and dealing with Rosie, and I could hear your TV.
I was gonna add a comma.
Can you bend forward and place the palms of your hands flat on the floor without bending your knees? If yes, add 1 point.
You paused where you did not have a comma. That is not how you English.
I do not see you do any of this research, so you do not get to make a comment on my notes. However, can you do that? Because I can. If you would like to demonstrate, stand on the table.
You see, there's not enough space for what I have planned to technically get that. See, you stand. I mean, it's not wrong. Let's go into a push-up position.
Somebody need to teach you what a push-up position is. Being supported on
It never says to
chair.
stand up.
You have to stand up for that to work.
No, you bend forward until you're parallel with the ground. We'll get back to white eventually. There we go.
Okay, so I can do that. He's cheating. So I
I can still do it though.
have 9. He has 2.
3.
No.
I still did it.
Demonstrate on the table.
Not out of space. I'm longer than the table. I'm taller than the table is long.
James, it doesn't mean do a push-up.
I didn't do a push-up.
No, you might as well have.
Nah, don't feel like it.
Can you at least demonstrate what you're supposed to do?
No, because I can't even get close.
Ha!
You should demonstrate what we can do with that.
You want me to wash dishes later? I'm gonna go with a no. By the way, doing simple things like washing dishes takes a lot out of my joints. Just standing there.
Huh.
Anyways, that's all I have now. If people are interested in it, I will do more research. To learn a lot more about me. But obviously, with somebody that's dealing with that, I'll typically behind the scenes fix the lamp. Now.
I find this funny.
You know what else I'll find funny? That lamp staying in the hallway for the entire part of this video.
Entire part of the
Shut up.
No.
Okay, so obviously, for a typical person to be dealing with hypermobility, it is hard even day to day. What are you doing to the light?
I hit the wrong button.
Why are you hitting buttons?
Because I had to change it back to white.
Okay, so it's hard for people to deal with that, and like even as much as sitting in a seat all day at school can be hard because your body always has to be in a state of being somewhat tense, whether you're aware of it or not, because if it's not, as my mom put it, you fall apart. What are you doing?
Nothing. Just putting the head back together.
You put something in the head.
No. Just back up.
I'll tell you what that reminds me of when we're not trying to film a video.
I don't like the sound of that.
James. Okay, honestly, dealing with 3-year-olds in my house does not help having to constantly take objects from them before they keep changing colors of light, and stacking skulls on one another.
I'm not stacking them on one another, I'm stacking them in one another. That worked well.
Okay, there are some days where it is hard to move, hard to get out of bed.
That's not how the colors go.
Hard to get out of bed.
No, give me back my lamp.
Why? So you can keep playing with it?
Yes. Hey, I bought that. Give me that. I have the lamp.
Stop it. Okay. So, obviously doing the simple things, sitting down, washing dishes, sweeping the floor, chasing after the dog. Hi, Sonny. All of those can be very hard. The hardest thing I have to do is typically when I go to school, having to get up like every hour and a half after sitting there. It's typically hard to do that. And that's why I've started like finding some excuse to get up and walk halfway through class and made it a tiny bit easier. Something James will never struggle with.
Aw.
But I guess on top of that, like being injured, dislocating things, no idea what's wrong with certain injuries like my hip. Dealing with people telling me that hypermobility is not an excuse to be injured, saying that I'm faking injuries. Over 3/4 of the school was making comments behind my back regarding me having a knee injury and a wrist injury at the same time. And by the way, if any of those people are watching who made comments like that, next time, maybe don't say it when you're walking directly behind me in the hallway. I have ears. We found it hilarious to start talking about them right in front of them and see how much they liked it. You remember that one?
No.
You wouldn't remember his head if it wasn't attached. Oh wait, it isn't.
It's not nice.
So this is all for this video. I am thinking of doing another video, not on hypermobility, but hypoglycemia, since that's something else I deal with, and something else I've had to deal with people regarding. We're at 22 minutes.
I got a motto for you. Better know hypermobility than hypomobility.
Why? On both of them, if I move, it'll hurt.
But you see, with hypomobility, you wouldn't be able to move as much. Therefore, you do this. And get
With
hurt.
normal mobility, I wouldn't be able to move as much.
Normal mobility. That's not one word, that's two words.
Yes, I said that. Normal and mobility.
No, you said normal mobility.
I said it like I would say it in conversation.
Normal mobility.
No,
as if it was one.
Actually, I have no idea what that's called.
Normal mobility.
No, it might
Space.
it might actually have a medical definition or term.
Normal.
And then medical, not your version of medical.
That's funny.
Okay, so like I said, the next video will be on I'm drawing a blank on that medical condition.
Hyper. So with that.
Hypoglycemia. No, it didn't. Which is a blood sugar issue that I deal with. Which, going back to when I was talking about having a knee injury and a wrist injury, it caused my wrist injury.
Better to have hypoglycemia rather than hypothermia. That one I'm not wrong about.
And meet the one that does not understand any of my medical conditions, despite the fact they can affect his day-to-day life as well.
I understand some of them, I just find it funny.
Okay, what do you understand about hypermobility?
It's when you're hyper, when you're mobile. You move too much. I really didn't know where I was going with that, by the way. I mean, I knew what I wanted to say, but I was not saying the right words. Alright, well,
Okay, I'll probably have this in the end of the next
I
video.
also know it can cause back pain.
Stop reading my notes.
No, I already read them already.
Actually, that I did find interesting because I deal with back pain. But okay, what do you think that hypoglycemia is?
Low blood sugar.
What do you think that can cause?
Your blood sugar not to be high.
What else can that cause?
Apparently you're feeling like you're gonna pass out and then passing out and falling onto your wrist.
Okay, I did not fall directly onto my wrist.
Well, your wrist is under you.
I got trapped underneath my crutch. I landed on top of the crutch.
Therefore, in a way, you landed on your wrist.
Can we end this video before I just kind of merge these two video ideas in my head?
Maybe.
That's all for this video. Goodbye, James. Get up and shut the camera off.
The end.